why would someone want to control what their spouse does with their property after they die?
There could be a variety of reasons. It may be a situation where there's a blended family and both spouses have children from previous relationships, may be worried about the surviving spouse removing your children as beneficiaries. It may also be a concern that your spouse might be vulnerable to bad influence later down the road. There may be concerns about remarriage. The Pilates instructor comes in and, marries a hot young thing. There could be concerns about that.
Right. And we see this kind of concern, I would say, in our practice a little more commonly as our clients get older. When our clients are young and they've got young children, they've been married for only 10 years or something, they're really not thinking about becoming vulnerable as elderly people. But our older clients have maybe some real world experience around that, and they might think about that. So those definitely are valid reasons, but there is a trade-off. Let's talk about the negative aspects of having that AB structure.
Splitting the trust into two shares does cost money because it requires legal work to divide and retitle the assets. Also, the irrevocable trust, the deceased spouse's share, becomes a taxpayer. And so the surviving spouse does have to file a tax return every year for that trust. And then also, depending on what type of AB trust you have, the assets in the irrevocable trust may not get a step up in cost basis on the surviving spouse's death.
Okay. And a lot of times that's an important consideration. Each of those things is an important consideration. So, the trade-off in control comes with complexity, which means expense. Instead of having the AB, we could just say, I leave everything to my surviving spouse, and there's no ongoing irrevocable trust. So that's certainly simpler and easier for our surviving spouse. And what exactly are we talking about when we say simpler and easier?
It's simpler and easier because it requires minimal legal work upon the death of the first spouse. And there are no tax returns, additional tax returns that the surviving spouse will have to file each year. And then the surviving spouse can change it, update it as they wish.
Right, which is, definitely a plus for the survivor, but maybe the deceased spouse doesn't like that.
Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Absolute Trust Talk Live. If you enjoyed listening in, then don't forget to subscribe. You can find us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you may listen by searching Absolute Trust Talk. While you're there, we would also love for you to leave us a review. And then why not share your favorite episodes with family, friends, or colleagues too? You can find all of our shows and corresponding show notes by visiting absolutetrustcounsel.com. You'll also find a variety of other free resources, including our ebooks, videos, blogs, presentations, and more. If you need help with your estate planning or administration, we also offer a free discovery call to help get the process started. You can find more information on booking your session by visiting absolutetrustcounsel.com/scheduling. Don't forget to keep an eye out for our next live episode. If you join us for the broadcast, you can submit questions during the show. But if not, don't worry. You can always get in touch with us by sending a quick message to info@absolutetrustcounsel.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you soon.